Karen's meaty hand thrust the leash in my face, her voice a screeching siren over the park's evening hum. "Give it to me, or I'll call the cops," she bellowed, her chins wobbling with righteous fury, as if I'd stolen her firstborn instead of holding my dog's red leash. Her sister, Karen too, loomed behind, nodding like a bobblehead, her beady eyes glinting with the same entitled venom. The park, alive with joggers and dog walkers, froze to watch the spectacle unfold, and I felt the weight of their stares like a spotlight on a stage I never auditioned for. It started innocently enough. I was walking Rusty, my scruffy terrier, through Maple Grove Park, his red leash swinging in my hand as he sniffed every blade of grass. The sun was dipping low, painting the sky in streaks of orange, and I was lost in the rhythm of his little paws pattering on the path. Then came the Karen sisters, storming toward me like a pair of discount store tornadoes. Karen 1, the ringleader, was a mountain of a woman, her floral moo-moo straining at the seams, her face a permanent scowl that screamed, "I'm better than you." Karen 2, slightly leaner but no less menacing, trailed her, clutching a Starbucks cup like a weapon, her lips pursed in perpetual judgment. "You," Karen 1 barked, pointing a sausage-like finger at me. "That leash is mine. I left it right there." She gestured vaguely toward a bench 20 feet away, where no leash shred or otherwise lay in sight. I blinked, confused, holding up Rusty's bright red leash, the one I'd bought at PetSmart last month. This is mine," I said calmly, trying to defuse the situation. Rusty, sensing the tension, gave a low growl, his ears twitching. "Don't lie to me, you little thief." Karen 1 snapped, her voice loud enough to startle a nearby squirrel. "I know my leash when I see it. Hand it over, or I'll make sure everyone here knows you're a criminal." Karen 2 chimed in, her voice a nasal whine. "People like you ruin this park, stealing from hardworking folks like us." The irony wasn't lost on many that looked like they'd worked a day in their lives, unless you counted yelling at baristas as labor. I took a deep breath, trying to keep my cool. "Ladies, this is my dog's leash. I've had it for weeks. Maybe you misplaced yours," I suggested, pointing toward the bench. "Check over there again." But reason was a foreign language to the Karen sisters. Karen 1 stepped closer, her bulk casting a shadow over me, her breath reeking of cheap perfume and entitlement. "Don't play smart with me," she hissed. "I'm calling park security right now." She fumbled for her phone, her acrylic nails clicking like tiny daggers. By now, a small crowd had gathered, dog walkers, a jogger pausing mid-stride, an elderly man with a cane who looked equal parts horrified and entertained. I felt my cheeks flush, not from guilt, but from the sheer absurdity of it all. Rusty, bless his heart, sat patiently at my feet, his leash still in my hand, as if to say, "Human, why are we dealing with these lunatics?" I tried again. "Ma'am, look, it's red. Your leash was what color?" "Red," Karen 1 screamed, as if I'd just confessed to grand larceny. "You think I don't know my own leash? You're just some punk trying to scam me." Karen 2 nodded vigorously, spilling a bit of her latte on her knockoff designer purse. "We're HOA board members," she declared, as if that gave her authority over public park leashes. "We keep this neighborhood safe from people like you." The crowd murmured, some shaking their heads, others pulling out phones to record. I caught a glimpse of a teenager in a hoodie, smirking as he filmed, probably already envisioning the TikTok views. I wanted to laugh, but the Karen sisters' escalating rage was starting to feel like a runaway train. "Okay," I said, raising my hands, the red leash dangling visibly. "Let's all calm down. I'm not stealing anything. This is Rusty's leash. Maybe you dropped yours somewhere else." Karen 1 wasn't having it. She lunged forward, trying to snatch the leash from my hand. I yanked it back, and Rusty barked, his small body tensing. "Don't touch my dog," I snapped, my patience evaporating. The crowd gasped, and the elderly man muttered something about disgraceful behavior. Karen 1 froze, her face turning a shade of red that matched the leash she was so obsessed with. "You assaulted me," she screeched, clutching her chest like a soap opera diva. "I'm calling the police." At this point, I was done. I tried reason. I tried calm. But the Karen sisters were a brick wall of delusion. Go ahead, I said, my voice steady but sharp. Call them. Let's see what they say when they see me holding my own dog's leash. The crowd buzzed, and I caught a few nods of support. Karen, too, sensing the tide shifting, stepped forward, her latte-stained purse swinging. You'll regret this, she hissed. We know people. We'll have you banned from this park. That's when things took a turn. The teenager filming, still grinning, called out, Hey, lady, check your bag. He pointed at Karen one's oversized tote. Wearilo, and behold, a blue leash was peeking out, tangled with a half-eaten granola bar and a crumpled tissue. The crowd erupted in murmurs, and Karen one's face went from red to ghostly white. That's not mine, she stammered. But the lie was as flimsy as her muumuu. I seized the moment. So, you've got a leash in your bag, but you're accusing me of stealing yours? I held up Rusty's red leash, letting the crowd see it clearly. This is mine. Always has been. Maybe you should check your own stuff before screaming at strangers. The elderly man clapped slowly, and a few others joined in, their laughter cutting through the tension like a knife. Karen, too, tried to salvage the situation, babbling about honest mistakes, but the crowd wasn't buying it. The teenager, now the hero of the hour, zoomed in on Karen one's bag with his phone, narrating like a true influencer. And here we have the HOA Karens, caught in 4K, trying to bully this lady over a leash they already had. The crowd roared, and Karen one's scowl twisted into something almost pitiful. But the universe wasn't done with the Karen sisters. As they turned to storm off, Karen one tripped over a tree root, her tote spilling its contents across the grass. Sunglasses, a vape pen, and, yes, the blue leash, now fully exposed. The crowd howled with laughter, and Karen two's attempt to help her sister up only resulted in her latte splashing across both of them. They scrambled to their feet, dripping and disheveled, as the teenager's video captured every humiliating second. I knelt beside Rusty, scratching his ears as the Karen sisters retreated, their shouts of "You'll hear from our lawyer" fading into the evening air. The crowd dispersed, some offering me sympathetic smiles, others still chuckling at the spectacle. The elderly man tipped his hat to me, muttering, "Good for you, standing up to those bullies." I smiled back, feeling a strange mix of relief and triumph. As I walked Rusty home, the red leash swinging in my hand, I couldn't help but reflect. The Karen sisters thought they could steamroll me with their bluster and HOA clout, but they'd picked the wrong fight. Their entitlement, their need to dominate, had backfired spectacularly, leaving them soaked in latte and shame. It wasn't just about a leash, it was about people who think they can bully their way through life, only to trip over their own lies. Rusty looked up at me, his tail wagging, and I swear he was grinning too. The park returned to its quiet rhythm, the sunset fading to twilight. I'd stood my ground, and the Karen sisters had learned a lesson, or at least, I hoped they had. Sometimes, the universe has a way of balancing the scales, and today, it had done so with a vengeance. I gave Rusty an extra treat when we got home, a reward for being the best wingman a girl could ask for. The end.